caught in the crossfire. It's caught in the...
What's up, guys? Lance, the Obscure Movie Guy, coming to you once again with another fun-filled, fact-filled video that you probably won't care about. Trying to change the world one post at a time. And today is going to be a big video because today is video number 100 on my YouTube channel. And with that, I now have over 100 subscribers. So that's also pretty cool. I appreciate everybody subscribing and checking out my videos. And today is going to be a big episode because it's episode 100. So you got to go big or go home. And it's also November 3rd. And for those of you that don't know, it is Godzilla Day. That's right, Godzilla Day, Godzilla Fest is upon us, so we're going to talk all things Godzilla. Now, for those of you who've been with me since the beginning, you'll know that I love Godzilla. I did a video way back in the way back before I ever had any actual editing software and did a trailer reaction to Godzilla versus King Kong and went over 3 Godzilla movies then, plus all of the ridiculous Godzillas I have running throughout my house. Here's a quick recap. Me and my boy love us some Godzilla. As you can tell, I got my Godzilla shirt, got his Godzilla towel, and I mean, I got Godzillas all over this freaking house. I can pour them out of my ears. I've got 2014 Godzilla. I've got Godzilla King of the Monsters Godzilla. I got Collector's Edition Godzilla. I've got Mecha Godzilla. I've got Shin Godzilla. I've got Final Wars Godzilla. Had to think about that one. I got a little baby Godzilla. I've got homemade Godzilla. I've got Kong too, just so I can kick his ass, because in this house, Godzilla's the winner. We check out 3 movies that everybody should watch that are featuring Godzilla. We should also talk about this amazing piece of literature right here. This is the Criterion Collection. This is not just a book with awesome pictures in it. As you can see here, we've got pictures, and this has actually got artwork and synopsis of 15 original kaiju classics from Godzilla. This is the actual Showa era when Godzilla kicked off from 1954 to 1975. And it's not just a book with the pictures and synopsis, but it's actually 15 movies, DVD, Blu-rays. And nothing has changed. I still have Godzillas running around. We've got King Kong versus Godzilla. We've got Burning Godzilla. We've got Space Godzilla. We've got Nika video game appearance Godzilla. But aside from all of the ridiculous toys that I have running around, we do need to talk about 3 Godzilla movies that you should definitely check out. And the first one we're going to talk about is going to go all the way back to the 5th film in the franchise, 1964, Ghidorah, the Three-Headed Monster. Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster is a 1964 Japanese kaiju film directed by Ishiro Honda, produced and distributed by Toho Limited. It is the 5th film in the Godzilla franchise and was the 2nd Godzilla film produced that year after Mothra vs. Godzilla. In the film, an extraterrestrial from Venus possessing the body of a princess warns humanity of the arrival of King Ghidorah, with Godzilla, Rodan, and Mothra being their last hope for survival. The film was rushed into production in order to replace Redbeard, which fell behind schedule in Toho's New Year's holiday slate. The Godzilla suit and Mothra larva prop were recycled from the previous film, with modifications added, while new suits were produced for Rodan and Ghidorah. Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster was theatrically released in Japan on December 20th, 1964, followed by a theatrical release in the United States on September 29th, 1965, by the Continental Distributing Company, and showcased it as Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster. In both cases, it earned over $1 million at the Japanese box office and $1.3 million at the American box office. Now, I don't need to sit here and tell you why you should watch Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster. I mean, it's Ghidorah. I mean, it's Godzilla's biggest foe. He faced off with him in 2019's King of the Monsters. He was, the brainchild in Godzilla vs. Kong for Mecha Godzilla. And, it's basically the introductory of that character, that kaiju. And, you know, the inspiration for King Ghidorah is it's a Japanese folklore. And I'm probably going to butcher it because I don't speak Japanese, but it's the Yamamata no Orochi, which is an 8-headed dragon serpent thing. It's got 8 heads and 8 tails in Japanese folklore. So that was the inspiration for King Ghidorah. And the movie is kind of cool because, you know, Godzilla became so popular so fast that they started kicking out these movies, and it really took off. But it was the 5th film in the franchise. They actually had to recycle the suits from Mothra and Godzilla. So the suit in this movie was used in the previous movie with some slight alterations. The biggest thing that they did was with the eyes. So in the previous movies, the eyes were actually like wooden eyes, but they were glazed over and had like a glass-like type look to them, but they were made of wood. And in this movie, they were actually able to replace them with radio-controlled eyes to actually give them some movement, which was kind of cool, but it also created like a flatter head in the suit. And then Mothra's eyes actually changed from blue to red. So, not for, like, they used the same suit, but prior to, they had red eyes, and then they changed them out. Now they had blue eyes. And King Ghidorah's suit was, you know, the brand new. So fun movie. King Ghidorah, he's always been kind of a badass. I don't like King Ghidorah because he is the bad guy, but as bad guys go, he's a pretty good one. He's a pretty good bad guy. So next movie I want to talk about, and this is actually one of mine and my son's favorites, and he actually picked this one for me to do. He wanted me to do King of the Monsters, Final Wars, and this one. But I had already talked about Final Wars and King of the Monsters in my previous video, so I couldn't do them again. But I am going to do this one. It is 1973 Godzilla versus Megalon. Godzilla vs. Megalon is a 1973 Japanese kaiju film directed by Jun Fukada, written by Fukada, and Shinichi Sekizawa, distributed by Toho and produced under the effects subsidiary Toho Izo. It is the 13th film of the Godzilla franchise and features fictional monster characters as Godzilla, Megalon, and Gigan, along with the mecha character Jet Jaguar. Godzilla vs. Megalon was released theatrically in Japan on March 17, 1973, and it received a theatrical release in the United States in the summer of 1976 by CinemaShares. Due to this release and subsequent home media, the film has become one of the most well-known kaiju films in the United States. The film's popularity in the U.S. might also be contributed to the Western perceptions of kaiju films as comedic or campy, with the film received a revived recognition after the appearance on Mystery Science Theater in 1991. The film was followed up subsequently by Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla in March of 1974. So I'm a big fan of this movie, and they managed to pull it off. So if you're a keen-eye Godzilla fan, then you'll notice that there's a lot of reused stock footage from previous Godzilla movies, like Godzilla vs. Ghidorah, Mothra, Godzilla vs. Gigan, which came out a year before, Destroy All Monsters. There's a lot of stock footage that's used in the fight scenes, and the reason for that is because they put this movie together really quick because Godzilla vs. Red Moon was canceled, and they needed something to fill it in. And the whole process took about 6 months from like pre-production to like being released, which was at the time pretty quick. Filming took place over the course of like 3 weeks, you know, and they went into it with a not very detailed story. They pretty much wrote it as they went. And the other thing that I really like about this movie is that it was the introduction of Jet Jaguar. Yeah, he's the robot guy, and the cool thing about that is that Jet Jaguar was the brainchild of a small child. So, mid to late, like summer of '72, Toho did a contest for kids to come up with a new kaiju, and a kid had drawn what he had called Red Aron, and he was basically the idea behind Jet Jaguar. They took his idea, they did try to make it, the kid didn't like it, so they used Red Aron for like marketing purposes, but they came up with Jet Jaguar in the end. And to the best of my knowledge, I think it's the only film that Jet Jaguar's been in, but I like him because he reminds me of Ultraman, and I also like Ultraman, so there's that. But yeah, film was rushed into production, shot in 3 weeks, and again, used a lot of recycled footage. But yeah, still good. One of me and my son's favorites, honestly. Really just like it, and I don't know, maybe just because I like Ultraman so much, I just like the whole Jet Jaguar thing. And I think it worked really well. Given that they were like kind of like shooting from the hip and writing the script on the fly, I think it still worked. So, and the last movie that I want to talk about is actually being screened through Fathom Events today, November 3rd, at select theaters across the nation. It is 2002's Godzilla against Mechagodzilla. Godzilla Against Mechagodzilla is a 2002 Japanese kaiju film directed by Masaki Tezuka and produced by Shogo Tamiyama, produced and distributed by Toho Studios. It is the 27th film in the Godzilla franchise and the 4th film of the franchise's Millennium period. It is also the 26th Godzilla film produced by Toho. In 1999, 45 years after the original Godzilla attack, Maser Cannon technician Lieutenant Akane Yoshiro is unable to kill a new member of Godzilla's species during her first fight and accidentally knocks a vehicle down a mountain, where it and its occupants are crushed by Godzilla. As a result, Yoshiro is demoted while scientists, including single father Tokumitsu Yuhara, are gathered to build a biomechanical robot from the original Godzilla skeleton. The cyborg, Mechagodzilla, nicknamed Kiru, is finished and inducted into the Japanese Self-Defense Forces along with human pilots Kiru Squadron, with Yoshiro becoming the primary pilot. However, memories of Yoshiro's actions during the original fight still linger, and one of the squad's mates, Second Lieutenant Susumu Hayayama, holds her responsible for the death of his brother. So yeah, for his 68th celebration, Fathom Events is showcasing this movie at theaters, and I was gonna go, but it just didn't pan out. I've got way too much other stuff going on in my life right now that I was not gonna be able to take my son to it like I wanted to. But he doesn't know that it was gonna be a surprise, so he's not exactly let down by it. We're gonna watch Godzilla anyways. We've got all the movies. Either way, the cool thing about Godzilla Against Mechagodzilla is that this is supposed to serve as a direct sequel to the 1954 original Godzilla film. It kind of foregoes all of the other stuff in between and acts as a direct sequel, and is the second movie in a trilogy. It is followed by Godzilla Tokyo SOS, and it was served as a trilogy series. So pretty cool. And in the Japanese version, so in the American version, and it's always dubbed, it's Mechagodzilla, right? It's Mech G. And, but in the Japanese versions, they refer to him as Kiru, which is supposed to be derived from Kikaru, which means machine dragon in Japanese, apparently. And I'm sure I'm saying all of that wrong, because I don't speak Japanese, but there's that. So, 3 very cool movies, and here's another fun thing for everybody to check out. Shout Factory Online, or if you're like me, you can watch the Shout Factory channel on Tubi, is live streaming for the next few days, the 3rd to the 6th, Godzilla movies with John Carpenter, which is beautiful since we're coming right off the back of Halloween and right into Godzilla. John Carpenter is apparently a huge Godzilla fan, and he will be hosting all of these movies. 11.3 is going to be the original Godzilla. And then we're going to go with Rodan on 11.4. And check this out. So we have 2019 Rodan, King of the Monsters, and we have original Rodan. So, and then on 11.5, you can check out the movie that I just talked about, Ghidorah, the three-headed monster. And to wrap it up on 11.6, it is going to be The War of Gargantuous, which isn't necessarily a part of the whole Godzilla universe, but still a kaiju movie that was inspired by Godzilla on some degree. So definitely check those out. And I would be remiss if we didn't acknowledge the man who made it possible. And I'm not even talking about the guy that came up with the idea for Godzilla or the creator. I think we need to show some love to the original Godzilla actor, the man in the suit. And again, probably going to butcher his name, but Haruo Nakajima was the man in the suit from 1954 to 1972. He was in 12 consecutive Godzilla films before Toho decided to go in a different direction. And even after he wasn't the guy in the suit anymore, he still trained the guys in the suits how to move. And it would be remiss if I didn't at least acknowledge him. 2019's King of the Monsters was done in his memory. He sadly passed away in 2017. But Nakajima, the man in the suit, man had his work cut out for him. So word on the street is the first Godzilla suit was 100 kilograms. Now, for you people that don't know how much a kilogram is, there's 2.2 pounds in a kilogram, so the suit was roughly 220 pounds. That is a lot to move around. And prior to doing the original 1954 movie in the suit for Godzilla, he spent time at a local Tokyo zoo studying how bears and elephants would move, since he was going to be kind of in that nature of having to do stuff like that. They said he would throw bread out to the bears to see how they would move, and he would study the way elephants would walk in order to get an idea how he could manipulate the suit and move, not walk like a normal person. But I imagine trying to carry around 220 pounds of suit is going to make you walk different anyways. But obviously, as technology improved, suits became better looking, more realistic. We talked about the eyes being changed a couple times. And even and I talked about this in my previous video, but even all the way up until 2016's Shin Godzilla, they still did partial guy in a suit and then motion capture suit in order to make that work. But I've said it before and I'll say it again. I love Godzilla. Happy Godzilla Day. I hope you guys check out a Godzilla film. I mean, we're talking about a character, a creature that has legitimately is larger than life. His reach expands decades, generations. He's one of the few, if not the only thing on the Hollywood Walk of Fame that isn't an actor, producer, writer, something of that nature. Like, he's got his own star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. He is a citizen of Japan. He has a citizenship number in Japan. Godzilla is a citizen of Japan. They're not like just saying it like it's like black and white, government approved citizen of Japan. So there's not a lot of other characters or creatures of any type of media entertainment that I can think of. He's touched generations. He's been in everything from video games to movies to TV shows to comic books. He fought the Avengers. Tell me that wouldn't be a cool movie to watch. Godzilla versus the Avengers. And he was the inspiration for a lot of other monster movies, a lot of other kaiju movies. I talked about it before. Without Godzilla, we don't have Ultraman. We don't have Pacific Rim. We don't have, Power Rangers, Super Sentai, any of that stuff. One could even argue maybe you don't even get a Cloverfield without Godzilla. So his inspiration and his reach has gone for decades and generations, and hopefully it continues to go a few more as long as I'm alive and kicking, and as long as my son's alive and kicking. So, but that's my take on Godzilla Day, guys. This has been a blast. I really enjoy doing Godzilla videos. It is my 100th video. Thank you guys for being a part of me on this journey. I'm going to continue to try and bring you more ridiculous movies to watch, trying to change the world one post at a time. Please like, subscribe, and share the video. Comments. Let me know what your favorite Godzilla movie is. And want to talk Godzilla? I'm all about it. So like, subscribe, and comment to the YouTube channel. Check me out on Facebook, Tumblr, Reddit, and I will see you guys in the next one.